the hell is that? What is this on block? Why? This is 18 frames. This is like Yoshi's forward 1+2 on steroids. Oh my god. Okay. That's pretty good. The 14 frame. Yeah, I'll turn it down a little bit. So the 14 frame is a heat engager. That makes sense. That's something that I figured was going to be the case. The forward doesn't have a just frame in it. Oh, that's lame. This is a weird comment, but her eyes are super pretty. You can't call a Tekken character pretty. They all have the same face. That's what they say on Reddit, right? Okay, so this is similar to her Rage Drive in Tekken 7, except it just puts her in the mix-up stance instead of you having to transition into it, which is great. Okay, so they want us to use forward 3, which was -14 before. That doesn't seem right. And it's a pretty face. No! I need Lidia to look like she's 50 years old and has cancer. I'm sorry. I just can't get over when people say stuff like that. I'm sorry. Okay, so back 4 is still her homing move. Back 1+2. This used to be a wall bounce and -14 armor move. While running 1, she still has that. Okay, hold on. Let me go back here. So the normal 10 frame punish goes into cat stance, has 4, and now 4 transitions into another stance. That was her. I don't know how best to describe this, but when I say second stance, I mean the transition from one stance to another. So this was her second stance after doing back 3+4. And then that 4 used to be her rage drive in that stance. And now it just does 2 hits, so it's just a hell sweep now. Which is pretty strong. Okay. Yeah, down back 4. Wait, what is down back 4 and hit? It's still 22 and it's 0 now instead. Oh, okay. That's not great. Depends on what it does on counter hit though. Right, and then down back 3 puts her in a stance now. For a Homeland ass character. What? You're going to get canceled? I'm not the one that should be getting canceled then. It should be 70% of the Tekken community. I'm making fun of them. Oh, wait, that's how I get canceled, huh? It's like getting canceled by 4chan. I'm fine with it. I fucking told you! Look at this. 4 on block does chip damage, leaves her plus, puts her in stance. I said that this is exactly how this move was going to work. Okay, so important to keep in mind that forward 3+4 is what they call horse stance. Which is just a normal 3+4, but forward 3+4 stance from before, but... Yeah, and then that was her... Yeah, that was the transition. So doing the 4 lets her transition into the second stance. Actually, I think that was her second back 3+4 stance, right? Because that's what you did after hop kick. I don't remember. It's been too long. What the? Excuse me? Forward 4-2 on block is 13 frames and +5. And then she has a high armor move that beats jabs, that leaves her +16 wall splats and puts her and is homing and puts her into another stance. And that's the stance that gives her house sweep. On block. And you know that does chip damage too. Okay. So this character's going to be legal for Evo, and she is going to be everywhere in the top 8. Yeah. Yeah, this character's already broken. That's it. I don't need to see anything else. Forward 4-2 being able to do that means that her neutral is better than almost every other character in this game. Send me a link to that video so I can start all the moves. There you go. What? I mean, this is during heat, to be fair. Look how little... Why does that use so little heat? Look at... What? That's an 1/8. That's nothing. And on normal hit during heat, you can do that, and it gives her this guaranteed follow-up. Kazuya, eat your heart out. Oh my god. +5 sounds like she can take 2 turns. She can do a lot with +5. Okay. Yeah, that's insane. I think it goes without saying that's insane. Okay, so during heat, she can use another stance called Heaven and Earth. Okay. Entering stance increases Heaven and Earth level. Guess that's this thing. Carries over into next round? I love her. I have been, since the very beginning, these mechanics that they've been giving the characters, I've been saying over and over and over again, it doesn't make sense why these things only last for 1 round and they don't carry over into the next round. Time and time and time again. Mainly because that's what they do in Soul Calibur, so that's what I'm used to. Oh my god, I didn't think that they would ever do this. This may only be a shock to me, but the fact that the character has a mechanic in Tekken that carries over into a subsequent round is crazy. I know obviously that the 2D characters had that in Tekken 7, but they're a separate case. That's crazy. And it also means that Lidia has to use her. I don't know how this mechanic works, obviously, yet. But just assuming that there's a reason to do this, and of course there is, it means that every single time Lidia enters heat, it's always important to be able to enter the stance. And that means it's always important to be able to get heat once every round, because if you don't, then you're going to be at a disadvantage. It's like in a similar sense to how you have to build Coda with Tira, right? The other thing I imagine too is because you build this up over every round, I imagine if you get to final round and you're able to utilize whatever the hell this is, then it's just going to be insane what she can do. That's crazy. But I love this because I love mechanics that carry over in the rounds because it adds so much more decision making to the character. But we gotta see what this even does first. She only gets that stance and it eats 2/3 of her heat going into it. That's fine. That's fine. Because if she's building a meter off of it, then depending on how the meter is, then it's worth it to do that. Gonna have so many dudes to bet on Evo Lidia. Yeah, but which one? Do you vote for player 1 Evo Lidia or player 2 Evo Lidia? The stance parries too. I did see that in the trailer, yeah. So it becomes fully filled at 3. Okay, so that's less interesting. So it doesn't build up to like higher than 3. I was thinking 6, 7, 8, somewhere around there. Okay. Allows the use of powered up version of Seikenzuki. Okay. Let's look at this again. So 1 + 2. Again, look how little this oh, that's forward 2. They didn't show 1 + 2. Which again, 1 + 2 was a completely useless move in Tekken 7, so that's good. That's good. And she still has a 3-2. Does it still have the blue spark, though? That's my question. So when she does this, she goes into... Oh, no, she does go into that stance. Okay. Yeah, and I guess that's the other thing when you think about it, is because of how much heat that costs, it's really important that you're able to actually get heat engages, which is probably why she has back 1 as a really, really strong heat engager. 14 frame punish. Back 1. That's a 12 frame front crouch punish. That's crazy. Oh my god, that's insane. Okay, I gotta look at this again. So the mid out of horse stance. Okay, I think that's a new move. That's not. That's her fastest move out of that stance. And then you press up to transition. Okay, so how much does this cost exactly? It costs your entire heat. Okay, so it's like Hwang's Iron Will. So here's the way that you do this. So people look at this and they say, oh, it costs her an entire heat. This is exactly the same as how Hwang uses Iron Will. And the way that you do this then is you wait until your heat is almost completely gone and then you do it. You're basically doing this to build the meter instead of a heat dash or a heat smash. That's what it's supposed to be. I think it costs less if you use a move to transition rather than going straight to it. It seemed like that was the case before, but either way, what you have to keep in mind, she uses a lot of meter if she's full, right? Oh my god, I need a drink after that. Jesus. Right, if you use this when she's here, it's a lot of meter. If you do it while it's here, it's not a lot of meter. That's what you have to remember. So you don't... And there are a lot of people that still don't utilize meter in a smart way, I think. You still see people, even at higher level, who just do heat engager and then they immediately do a heat dash or a heat smash or whatever. And they don't understand the value proposition that comes from having heat. So I think it's really important that you time this transition to build this stack really, really well. And maybe that's why it's only 3, because since it uses all of your meter, you want to use it right when your heat expires. And so if you go into round 4 and you've built this all the way up, then you're going to be really, really strong, right? Well, I guess round 3 and then you get it in round 3, but you know what I mean. It'll be interesting to see when we actually have the character. Yeah, same out of the stance as well. Okay, so out of all of the stands. Well, oh, okay. So she does the stance transition out of forward and back, but not back. 3+4, the second centile there. Okay, interesting. What was the startup on this? 18, okay. It's not the slowest, but it's not great. Hi, Tesseract. Lidia patch. I can't wait to see 7 Lidias in top 8 at Evo. That shifts to the heat stance on block. Oh, well, that's kind of insane. But then again, like, here's the thing, though. It shifts to the heat stance on block, but if it hits, it doesn't. So if you want to build the stack and you hit the heat smash, then that's bad for you, right? Her heat burst still gets you something on block. Heat smash burst, whatever the fuck. It's one of them. Yeah, and we've seen the rage out. We can skip it. So she still has this. This screws now? No, it wall breaks. Okay. I guess that's why you would do that maybe at the wall then. She has the low. I wonder if that still does anything on counter hit. Oops. So she still has 1-4 as a 10 frame punish. And the frames and damage and everything are the same. I still don't know why you would do this over 1-2-2, but maybe she has a new move that makes that worth it. 11 frame punish that switches to cat stance. That's really good. And then this is the one where she gets the hell sweep. That seems pretty good. In fact, that seems extremely good. So she still has this as an 11 frame punish, which I think was 10 actually in Tekken 7. I might be wrong. I'm pretty sure it was 10. It's more plus than it was before. I think this was 0 on hit before, but it still does so little damage. I don't know why you would do this. Again, maybe there's a heat thing. You still have the just frame on the 3-2, the powered up. That's cool. What is this startup? It's 15. Okay, so this is a wow. So this is now her 15 frame launch punish. She doesn't have to just do hop kick in order to be able to launch now. That's huge. That's an insane buff. So before, if you don't know, Lidia didn't have a 15 frame standing launcher. The only thing she could do was hop kick, which screwed. So her launch combo damage was like 60. It's high, so it's not perfect. But you don't use this as a poke anymore. You use this as a 15 frame launch punish. That's exclusively what this is for. And since it still has the just frame, it's giving you like probably 22 damage, which is all right. But yeah, that's really good. That's a huge buff. She finally has a real 15 frame launch. Yeah, I didn't expect that. This character's broken. So she has 4-3, and this is crazy because wait, does she not have? She doesn't have 4-2 anymore. Okay, never mind. I was going to say that's crazy because she has 4-2, so if they duck the high, then the mid on normal hit just knocks them down, but she doesn't have that anymore. In fact, this doesn't even screw. There's only wall break, so she doesn't even have a magic 4 anymore, which is actually a big nerf. But of course she has grab, so. But that's something to keep in mind. So she still has 1+2 and she can cancel it, but as we saw before, this is enhanced in heat. So who knows how this is gonna work. It does wall break though, which is interesting. And it doesn't say that you can charge it anymore, so who knows if you can charge it. It does say 31 to 31 frames. So I'm guessing you can't charge this. I wonder what this is on block. Oh, never mind. Never mind. And that full charge is faster, but she doesn't get a launch off of it when it hits. Not that it really matters. It does chip damage on block. Again, I want to see what... Oh, okay. All right. Yeah, whatever you say, her on it. Just keep making me look like an idiot. Fine. See if I care. Partially uses remaining heat time. Has a reversal break effect. It's still 31. So it's slow. It breaks through armor. Honestly, I don't know how good. This is a move I'd have to actually use and test because in theory, it could be good, but at 31 frames, It also depends on how this cancel works. The dash cancel on it. It could be good, it could be useless. I imagine it's good though because it has a use in heat, but I don't know. It does shift to having an earth on block or hit, so I guess that's something. So it means it is plus, and it's a forced transition and uses all of your heat. So I guess what you're kind of using this for, because it has that forced transition, is essentially as a heat dash, right? But more so to gain your stack than anything. I wish the move list were consistent. Some whole moves are just bundled in the one slot on the list and then you get where it's 3 separate entries. Yeah, I wish it was like Soul Calibur where there was actual grouping and things made sense and were consistent. Yeah. But in this case, you know, it's funny. I have my eyes closed. Okay, that's a new move. We saw this in the trailer as well. I don't remember the significance of it, but it's 20 frames and it switches to cat stance on hit or block, which means I'm guessing that all of these that transition stance on block are going to be like forward, forward 2 into plus on block. So a low crushing mid approach tool that mid approach tool that seems like it has good range and does 26 damage and is only 20 frames. It seems insane. That seems broken. Oh my god, the old 12 frame punish knocks down and wall splats again. Incredible stuff. So this used to be her. So she had forward 4-3 before, and this move, it's pretty much the same as it is here. It did nothing. It was another one of those moves where you looked at and you thought, this is a Tekken 8 move that they just took away part of it. And they did. Because she has a high extension that does something. I don't know what this does, but it does something. It's not even natural. No idea. If it's a launcher on counter hit, then yeah, that's pretty good. But you can also see that the first hit is -4. Yeah, for a second I thought I was covering the frame that, but that's -4. It's -4, -1. I think it said -4. Yeah, she had this before. It was like -12 on block force crouch or something. And oh, okay, so this is interesting. So she doesn't have, so this is about the same as it was before. That's a mid, never mind. I was going to say this is about the same as it is before because it's the high, but it's actually not a high, it's a mid. It has a different animation and it's a mid now. So that's cool. And it knocks down wall splats. +10 so you can 1-2-2 in the, oh yeah, I didn't even think about that. Oh my god, yeah, you're right. I didn't even consider that. Okay, yeah, that's pretty good, especially if that's natural and counter hit. That's crazy. Cam blocking cat, so you need to be pretty heavily plus to not just get jabbed. Well, they show that she has an armor move. She has one. So she has a way to deal with it. Okay. Good old down forward 1-2, nothing beats that. Down forward 1-3, nothing beats that. Second hit's probably still a counter hit launcher. I don't imagine it's not. Down forward 1 is changed. Or down forward 1. Down forward 2 is changed. I don't know if the range is the same or not. Same startup frames though, 15. Puts her into the same stance. Down forward 3-4, nothing beats that. And you get forward 1+2 off of that. This is natural, which is interesting. And this is, yeah, this is 15. So if this is natural, then you can use this at the wall, which is pretty good. And down forward 4 by itself tracks to a weak side, which is really strong. So not only with this move is this a really strong mid poke that tracks to Lidia's weak side, but if it also has that follow-up guaranteed, then people are blocking it, then they're going to want to duck that follow-up because getting hit by that follow-up, especially when she's +11, is going to be really devastating. But then if they're doing that, then that sets up for like down back 3 and stuff. So that's really good. That being natural is crazy. That's a crazy buff. Yeah, and then down forward 4-3. I think this didn't this used to be like forward 4-3 or something. I was quick on that one. I don't remember. But this is more or less how it was before. That isn't a launcher anymore, but it's faster. It's 12 frames. Not that this is actually 12 frames because it's a slide input. But still, that's pretty good at knocks down. I think this was plus as well. Why do these bots do that? Because people click on the link. This used to be an armor move. This is no longer an armor move. Startup's also weird. Oh, never mind. That was either my eyes or the video. Still, I mean, it's like Oasis back 3, right? Wall splat mid homing move that's a little bit slow. I don't like the distance that pushes them back on hit, but it's still pretty good, of course. Classic down 1. Down back 2 is now down 2. It's still -4 on hit. Wasn't it -2 on hit before? Okay, so that low's really bad. Yeah, and now, so this used to be down forward. The last hit of this, well, kind of the whole thing, used to be down forward 3, 2, 1. Down forward 3, slide 1, 2, sorry. But now it's just off of down 3. So she can do down 3, 1. And then if they duck the high and try punishing it, then she can do down 3, 1, 2, and that'll catch the launch punish. And then it wall splats. She doesn't get a follow-up off of it, though. Knocks them too far back. And they might be able to roll there. Down back 2. This used to be back 1 +2. This is more plus than it was before. This was only like +2 or something before. It wasn't good. You would only use it in combos. But being +7 is pretty good, especially if it does something on counter hit. So our house sweep no longer is an actual house sweep. It just puts her in stance, which is, you know. Ah, it does the follow-up on counter hit. Okay. And it's interesting because this is still -10. So you would almost think that this is worse in a lot of instances on counter hit than it is on normal hit, because normal hit puts her in the stance. But oh, power up based on heaven and earth level. Oh, interesting. Cannot throw escape. That's very funny. You cannot throw escape the attack throw. Incredible. Thank you, Harada. Okay, so maybe it's not as minus then if you have built up heaven and earth level. Interesting. Okay. And it's really important because the house sweep has always been vital to Lidia's entire functionality. And so when they nerfed it in Tekken 7, it brought the character from up here down here. So makes you wonder just how much it gets powered up. Does the normal one get powered up too? It does not. It's only on the counter hit. Okay. Interesting. So the other thing I was going to say is you would almost think because she's -10 that it's actually bad on counter hit compared to normal hit. But because she has the 12, actually wake up kicks are safe now, right? Yeah. But she has the down forward 1+2 parry, now parries kicks. We'd have to see how those work. Are you tilted on the same button? Yeah, you tap the button within a couple frames. So before, how it would work is if they did a low wake up kick and you did the low parry, then it would wall splat. And then it would lead to like 60, 70 damage. It was insane. And then if they did the mid, it was the same thing where you blocked it and then you did a 12 frame punish. Now she can't do the 12 frame punish on the mid wake up kick, but the mid parry now parries kicks instead of just right punches. So in theory, she can do that, and then that would also wall splat. So if they do a wake up kick here, then it's a 50-50 if they just die on the wall or not, if there's a wall, assuming. But in some instances, yeah, the counter is actually worse than it being on normal hit. Yeah, so down back 2 is now 0. This used to be +1, it's now 0 on hit, which when you consider that down 2 is -4 is actually pretty bad. But there are also grabs in this game, so I don't think it matters too much, and she has forward do, which just leads into mix-ups by itself anyway, so. But I think what all of this means is that depending on how this mechanic works, it means that building this mechanic is going to be more important because her lows normally aren't as good. So you need to be able to build this to maybe get more options to be able to open them up, right? How is 4-4 in brackets different from 4-4? 4-4 in brackets just means that you have to, that it's a slide input. Okay, so down back 3, so that's the old animation. They're not going to show it on block, or they will show it. Okay, so that still will wall splat, which is really strong. And it gives you the guaranteed follow-up as well. So that's really good. That's really, really good. And then back 1. Back 2, my beloved. Back 2, 3 now is natural, and the just frame gives you more damage. That's really good. So this is now a 13 frame punish. Interesting. I wonder if the 3 is still a counter hit launcher. It used to be -9. I doubt it is if this is natural. That would be way too strong if it was. She also doesn't have back 2, 1 anymore. So she only has the mid. So that's probably not a counter hit launcher anymore. Okay, back 3, 1, same as it was before. On counter hit, that left her plus 14. I doubt that the second hit on counter hit still does that when it's a heat engager, but yeah. She does? She still counter hit launches off of this? Am I reading that right? If that's the case, that's insane. But then again, because she doesn't have the high that's not -9, it's going to be punishable. So if that's the case, it's actually not as good. That's natural? Huh? Sorry, I didn't mean to scream into the mic like that. That's insane. Oh, you were talking about Jin. Oh, okay. Need the second hit 4 before the first to go, whatever. It transitions to simple input. Jin has a couple moves that like this already. Oh, I'm sorry. I should have read ahead. I thought that was a completely separate. Maybe I should have gotten a clue by when you said he instead of she. I need to eat lunch. Yeah, Jin has like 1, 2, 4, 4, right? Or something like that. This being natural is crazy. You need to eat more Sour Patch Kids. Okay. It's very sweet. How much sugar is in these? Ah! 9 pieces is 25 grams of sugar. Oh my god. They're sour because they're so damn sweet. Oh my, this small box is 77 grams of sugar. Anyway, where was I? Oh yeah. So back 3 is a really, really strong keep out move. Because the back 3, 1, this on counter hit left her plus 14. And obviously, because she gets heat engager out of that, that's really strong. And just by itself, it's already plus 5 and puts her at the perfect range to be able to force a house sweep or a forward 2 mix up. So that's insane, right? And even the back 3 by itself is safe. It's a really strong, long range, fast mid that also sets up for that, because then they have to deal with the follow-up attacks. So the fact that you can just do this and don't even have to think about it because it's natural is insane. The last hit was -10, and the high recovers so quickly that even if you duck under the high, a lot of the time you're not going to be able to launch punish it. So this is broken. That's what I'm trying to get. This is broken. Back 4. Back 4 is really strong. She doesn't have the follow-up off it anymore, but that's fine because you only use that for the back 4 by itself anyway. It was like -4 on block. It was crazy. Back 1 plus 2. Like I said before, that used to be a wall bounce, -14. So it doesn't say that this has a parry effect in it anymore, so the unblockable probably doesn't, which means that move is useless. Which is whatever. So this is interesting. Okay, so the wake up kick is a mid, and so this used to be down 4 1 plus 2, which only parried right punches. It is now up 1 for whatever reason, and it only parries highs, which is really interesting. I wonder why you would do this instead of ducking. I guess off of moves like Paul's down forward 1-1-2. I really wonder why you would do this though. Because since she has from crouch down forward 2, which is a 12 frame heat engager, I don't understand. I don't know why you would want to do this instead of crouching. In some cases, I suppose it can be an option select. You can throw down neutral if you think the opponent's going to throw out like a 4 and you don't want to duck. You can do this out of sidestep, I suppose. You could do like sidestep up 1. And then if they throw out, like if they have a homing 4 like Elisa, then it would option select that. But if it only parries highs, I don't understand the use case. What hyper-specific parry condition would you rather have? I would honestly rather have it only parry right punches. Because that, in some matchups, has very, very strong effects. Like against Mishima's, for example. Against, like, Kazuya Jin with forward 2. It's a niche application, but in some matchups, it's very strong. High parry effect? Weird. I don't know. Like, yeah, wall spots there, sure. But, like, you get that off of just ducking it and doing from crouch down forward 2 anyway. So, I don't know. I love this move. I used to use this move a lot for Oki up 3. It gives a knockdown effect, though, which looks like it gives a guaranteed follow-up. It's okay as a parry. Yeah, but I think you'd rather a lot of the time just do back 2+4. Or generic parry. This looks like it gives a guaranteed follow-up afterwards, like forward 1+2. And then that's the launcher. Still 15 frames, still does the same thing as before. It screws all of that. Delayed hop kick. Forward 2. Running 2 to... So if you do instant while running with this, it powers it up. Interesting. Okay, so this doesn't have a forced transition in heat into the big stance, it's just in the horse stance. Which might be why we were thinking before that it consumes less if you transition into it from a move. Because she wasn't transitioning into the heaven and earth stance. So forward 3 still a launcher, but used to be -14. If it's still -14, this move is still useless. It's +17 in heat. Jesus Christ. I wonder if it's +17 you can block, or if you actually get a guaranteed follow-up in heat. It's heat. You get guaranteed. Oh yeah, we actually saw before in the recommended moves that you do get the guaranteed 2 that switches into heaven and earth afterwards. That's insane. So forward 4. Like before, we can't see the frames on it, unfortunately. But this was a go-to move for a lot of people. And, you know, the other thing is, too, with forward 4, it looks a lot like down forward 4, right? So even though down forward 2 is mid-high and she no longer has the mid-mid anymore out of it, if you do forward 4 instead of down forward 4, because it looks like down forward 4, they might still crouch for the 2. And if they crouch for the 2, then the mid might hit and then wall splat them. And that's also natural. It makes me wonder, though, what that is on block, because there's no way that's safe. Powered up based on the heaven and earth level. So that's going to be a combo ender that just gets better while you have heaven and earth stacks, which is good. Forward 1+2 still has clean hit effect. Running 2. It's actually nerfed. This used to give you guaranteed forward 2 afterwards. It doesn't anymore. It's actually worse now. It does it while you're in heat. Okay. And it forces a transition into heaven and earth. Oh, but if you hold back, then it doesn't. Okay. So I was about to say it's going to be bad in heat, but you can choose. So it's not like an Asuka situation, which is good. Running 3. And then core circle forward 1+2, which still isn't natural. It still gives you this, but this is your combo under. You now have to do double core circle forward 2 back forward 1+2, which is very Virtua Fighter. Thank you for that. It's going to make it harder to do as a combo ender. And it's also going to mean that in longer combos, you can't just dash up and do it. Because before, if you had the execution, you could dash up and do core circle forward 2-2, back forward forward 1+2. But it was a little bit hard. Having to do double core circle forward, unless there's an input shortcut, which there usually isn't in Tekken, that's just not going to be happening. I look forward to murdering my movement buttons. Yeah, right? I look forward to destroying my D-pad. Core circle forward 2-1. This is a new move. Core circle forward 4 is also new. I just skipped this. That's the high that we saw before. It does chip damage on block. It's plus 10. And I think that we saw in the trailer that this goes into 1-2-2, right? It's plus 10 and it gives you that guaranteed follow-up. For a 17 frame homing high move that's presumably safe on block and does chip damage, that's one of the best moves in the game. Core circle forward 1+2-2. Shift and stalking wolf on hit or block. So again, this is just plus on block. Mid for no reason. 16 frame startup. Okay. And then the 10 frame is the same. Although the last hit comes out faster, not that it really matters. She still has the bow. I like that. Okay, wall rising moves. Wall rising 1-2. Shifts in the stance now. Okay, 13 frame. Still has the wall spot 13 frame. That's still 15. Has a slightly different animation, but it doesn't really matter. Wall rising 3. I think this is different, right? And I think that's because her from crouch down forward 2 is a heat engager. So as a 14 frame punish, you use this for the wall splat, maybe. Look, we have summon suffering now. No. It's easier than summon suffering. Wall rising forward 2 goes in the stance on hit or block. So if you're not ducking this high, which a lot of people aren't, then it's plus on blocking gives you stance. Oh my god, that's crazy. Okay. You know why that's crazy? Because Yoshimitsu can do that off of Wall Rising 4 in the Kinjo. And people still don't interrupt that a lot of the time. So the fact you have to deal with ducking a high, and then it's plus if you don't duck the high, and she can stagger it with just the 4 on block. Oh my god. Wait, I didn't even think of that until now. She can stagger the Wall Rising 4 on block. And then they have to look for the high, because the high is going to be plus and puts her in the stance, presumably. I'm doing a lot of assumptions. Maybe, and if it doesn't, then that's not nearly as good. Like, if it doesn't, then she's leaving herself really open to getting murdered. But assuming that it is, then she could keep staggering that, and if they don't duck the high, then they just get blown up on block. And that means, so they always have to duck the high because of that. But then if she just does instant Wall Rising 4, and they're focused on the high, and ducking the high, then she just does house sweep, and goes into the stance anyway. Oh my god. Okay, front crouch down forward 2. It's 12 frames. And then from crouch down forward 3 is how it was before, as a clean hit effect. I don't know if given this situation, you still get forward 3 guaranteed. It was hard to do before. I think you do, because of how wake up works in this game, but I'm not sure. Sidestep 1 looks more or less the same. Sidestep 4, it still doesn't launch a normal hit anymore. Very sad, but at least plus 16 and gives wall spot, so that's pretty good. Okay, horse stance. Horse stance 1 goes into stalking wolf on a hit or block. Just armor homing move that also is just plus on block, apparently. Okay. Okay, so what does this do? So it's an attack throw. Heat engaged when throw is complete. Oh my god, wait. So this is a mid heat engager that she has out of this stance that shifts into heat. I said it shifts into heat into heaven and earth is what I'm trying to say. And it uses half of your meter. So this is a heat engager that puts you in heat at 50% meter. That's so strange. But also seems really, really good. And then we have a homing 3 that knocks down and gives what looks like forward 1+2 guaranteed. I really have to wonder what these are on block. And then we have the 4, which, you know, she had in Tekken 7. What was this move before? This was 2. This was back 3+4 2 before. It's -1 on hit now. This used to be plus. This is -1 on hit and puts her in crouch. So that's not great. But that at least gives them a reason to duck for the 2 and the 3, right? So yeah, it is interesting. Even if it seems really good, it's interesting. It's a completely different use of how the mechanic works, which I like a lot. I really need to eat. I'm starving. But like the thing is, even though she looks completely broken, the way that she utilizes heat is really interesting. It's very different from how other characters use heat. So that's cool. All right, cat stance. Cat stance 1. That's faster than it was, but I think before it was 20 frames. It was, I said it when I looked at the trailer, it was plus on block, and I don't know why I did. I think it was -9. Yeah, it was -9. Okay, so this used to be 2, 3, 1, and this used to be it used to be only natural on counter hit, and it would wall bounce. They actually changed it in the last patch. It used to do something different, but in the last patch, they made it so it wall bounces. So instead, now it's 2, 2. It's still not natural, but it still gives you that wall splat. So I gotta wonder then if that's safe or not. Oh, she still has it. Right, and the second and third hit is natural. Okay. So is this 2, 2 high? Yeah, the second hit's high. Okay. Wait, no, the first hit's high. It's high mid. Yeah, and then that's high mid mid as well. It would make more sense if the 2, 2 was mid or high, sorry. So then it gives them a reason to duck, and then if they duck, then this wall breaks. But interesting. You can still stagger the last hit though, which maybe it's going back to how it was before. They changed it in Tekken 7. So maybe what you do is you do the 3, 2, and then if the back's to the wall, then you threaten with the third hit because the third hit will wall break. That would make sense. Won't get interesting with Modok, so we'll have this to tie us over for interesting for a good long while. Until Falconram, at least. I think Falconram will be interesting. Because like Lidia, Falconram was clearly a... Jesus Christ, look at her face. This is a horror show. Because Falconram is also a Tekken 8 character that was thrown in Tekken 7 like Lidia. And all of the Tekken 8, Tekken 7 characters are interesting. Like Lidia has all of this heaven and earth stance stuff going on. Leroy has his parry and cane stuff, so Falconram will have something. But Modok... Wait, we're getting her now what's going to be at Evo? Yeah, and then that's how... We're getting her now what's going to be at Evo. Oh, yeah, so what's going to be at Evo is they're going to show Modok, and that's it. Yeah, Evil's likely going to reveal Modok and Falconram. Maybe a secret 5th character if we're very lucky. Yeah, a secret 5th character would be cool. But Bandai Namco, probably not going to happen. Wow, so this used to be natural. So the 4 on clean hit would knock them down, and then the follow-up here would be natural, or you would just do the 4 on clean hit and then do forward 3. It's not natural anymore. And it's not even natural on normal hit. It's just not natural at all. So it's only natural on counter hit, I assume. But the 4 puts her in stance. So the follow-up there is to keep them from jabbing you out of stance, I guess. But then I wonder if that's still punishable, because that's still punishable and that kind of sucks. But it's the only low that she has out of the stance. It's still a good low, don't get me wrong, but... And then she has the 1+2. So that used to be the one that wall splat and was -10. And on counter hit would give her forward 2, 1+2 guaranteed. Actually, it might have been normal hit. I don't remember, to be honest with you. But now it puts her into stance on hit or block, which seems pretty good. Her face is just blank. It's not like Hwoarang's weird naked forward Mishima hell sweep spine. Yeah, it's just the way that she's looking at you like a me character when you're playing Wii baseball. That's what got me. Heihachi is probably the only realistic extra character, Terry Bogard. Well, remember what they did with Geese and Akuma? I think if they do something like that, would be a guest character. It's because Lidia knows. It just makes it more creepy. You know what? Mark will have in Heat ultimate tackle be unbreakable. Oh, just like Cassandra. Yeah, you're probably right. She can do the back sway. Yeah, so that's the 1+2. So this is the one that used to be plus on block, and now she can hold it. And then that transitions into Heaven and Earth. You can also just not choose to not do it, which is great. Yeah, that's the 2 from before. And then she has 3-1, which is another move that they changed. And they made it so it's not natural. And it's still not natural. I don't know why you would do this. I really don't. I don't know why you would do 3-1 over 1. I just don't. I mean, even on normal hit. Here. Go here. Why would you do 3-1 over this? I don't know why. When it's only natural on counter hit. I don't know. I don't think there's a reason to do it. There wasn't in Tekken 7, and I still don't think there is. Why would you do it over the 2 if you want the wall spot, right? I just don't think there's a reason to ever use that. Yeah, and then the 4 is really good. And then you can transition. And you can do the back sway in that stance as well, which is really strong. Yeah, and then we saw that. So that's during Heaven and Earth. That's the Power Crush launcher. Power based on Heaven and Earth level, chip damage on block. Now, what is this? Mid. Does chip damage on block, okay. And then that, yeah, that's the unblockable, right? So it doesn't give her the 14 frame anymore, but it's just unblockable. So that's going to give them a reason to duck. And then during Heaven and Earth, take attack from opponent, and then it's just back to Heaven and Earth. So let's see what happens to the gauge here. Okay, so I'm just a little bit confused on how this is working, but she's shifted here, and as soon as she shifted, they attacked. And so any attack that they do has a strong parry effect, partially restore heat time, and shift to Heaven and Earth. So any attack that they do will switch her back into the stance. It'll regain a little bit of her heat, so she won't immediately run out of heat. And it doesn't increase the level again. But she's maybe, if she doesn't do anything, and then they block Heat Smash, and Heat Smash on block puts her in the Heaven and Earth, then she can get 2 stacks of Heaven and Earth. Or she could just not do anything, and then with that remaining heat time, go into it manually, right? And then get a second stack. So that has multiple uses. It seems really strong. Dragunov's tackle's unbreakable in heat, but the actual damaging parts is still breakable. Oh yeah, that's true, isn't it? Remember when Asuka was able to do ultimate tackle with key charge, and it was special because it was the only ultimate tackle that was unbreakable? Good times. How am I gonna memorize all this shit? Good luck. At least you can step drag's tackle. Monic is homing, right? Yeah. If you try jumping over it, Monic becomes a helicopter and then grabs you out of the air. She still needs to key charge to tackle. Right, like, why didn't they just make Asuka's ultimate tackle something that she can do in heat? It's part of her identity. It's an iconic part of her she's had since Tekken 5. Why can't she just do it while she's in heat without having the key charge? But then Modok, or not Modok, well, Modok too. We could just assume with Modok. But then Dragunov is just like, oh yeah, you just... Sure. Yeah. Why not? Okay, throws. She gets fuck all and heat except infinite install, which is dog. Yeah, true. True. At least it's better now because they buffed the running 1+2, but it's still, she still has one of the worst heat mechanics in the game, which is crazy. All they need to do to fix it too is just give her ultimate tackle. If they gave her ultimate tackle while she's in heat, her Oki would actually be really strong and it would fix a lot of her issues, but no. No, let's just give her infinite install. Fuck, maybe even make it so she can do the ultimate tackle while she's in her install. Don't even make it so she has to be in heat to do it. Although, making it so she has something unique while she's in heat specifically would be cool. Neat, when he uses ultimate tackle, you just die. Yeah. If only Asuka had that. If only Asuka was a well-designed character. Her 1+2 throw is powered up based on heaven and earth level, and she regains recoverable health. Okay, so you know how much I love using throws in this game, right? I think every time I've ranked up with Yoshi, I've done it off of a 1+2 throw. So that's, I like that. And then that's the punch parry. Right, that's pretty normal. And then, yeah, time with high attack. Normal low parry. Oh, that's down 1+2 now. Okay, that's different. And it's powered up based on heaven and earth level. Interesting. And she regains recoverable health when she does that. Interesting. This is also faster than it was before. But she doesn't get Oki off of it like every other Oki or ender, like ground ender in the game. Cool. What, I need to look at her generic throws again because I wasn't paying too much attention to them, but I need to look at these two just to see if they floor break. They don't, but that one, if you're out the wall, do you think this wall splats? I don't know. But that still would be really good at the wall. It floor breaks! Oh, thank you, Harada. Thank you, Michael Murray. It floor break. That's all I needed. Anyway, Lidia seems insane. Yeah. This character's broken. As someone who played Lidia in Tekken 7, Lidia is broken. There's no other way for me to say it. So here's the thing people are going to say. And people said the same thing about Leroy when he was released. People said the same thing about Lidia when she was released. People said the same thing about Kunimitsu when she was released. People are going to say, oh, but she doesn't have good lows. And if you don't know how to play the character, yes. Because down back 4 is bad. Down 2 or 1+2, whatever it is, the old down back 2 is bad because it's -4. From crouch down forward 3, assuming it's still launch punishable, which it may or may not be, yeah, it's not great. But she still has down back 3, which has always been really strong. And then people are going to say, oh, but on counter hit, it leaves her -10, so it's bad on counter hit. Which isn't true, but even if that was true, what you have to keep in mind is her stances. Because she still has lows in her stances. And the point of using lows is to open up the opponent, right? So people might say that her lows are bad. But not if you're actually utilizing the stances. Because since you can manually go into the stances, that gives her her low options. And that gives her her mix-up ability. And then if you're going into the stances, that's going to give people an incentive to attack her, to be aggressive, to take their turn. Because otherwise, she's going to go into the stance and get a free mix on you. But then when people start doing that, that opens up the parry, that opens up the one that opens up the low parry, that opens up her just doing like down forward 2 and stuff. And then on top of all of that, of course, she just has forward 2, which is +5 on block for some reason. And the thing that people I don't think realize about this game is that a lot of things do chip damage. And when you do chip damage, a lot of the time, doing chip damage is the same thing as doing a low. Now, granted, when you do chip damage, they still can recover, and it's not depleting chip damage by itself. So if you do it too much and don't complement with other lows, then it's bad. But if you're stacking up chip damage by doing like forward 2 on block and then doing 1 or doing her 4 while in stance, and that's doing chip damage and pulling into another stance, and then when you build up that chip damage, you're doing stuff like down back 4 or down back 2, down 1+2, whatever the hell it is now. That means those lows are more powerful because they're taking out the gray health, right? And they're doing more damage, and all of a sudden that low B -4 is a little bit more worth it because it's depleting that chip damage that you built up, which is kind of the point of what they were trying to do with chip damage in the first place. Is just for most characters, it's not something you really think about, but with Lidia it is. And then you add on top of the fact that you have the heat mechanics where you have a meter that you build up that persists between rounds, that enhances like your ender with down 1+2 and your health sweep and stuff like that. And her stances seem really, really strong. I still don't know how the cancel works, because it seemed like it did something, but maybe it doesn't. Maybe she just doesn't. It doesn't seem like she has the unblockable out of it anymore, so maybe she just avoids and she can do the 30+4 or something. But she's very strong. She has lows. She has a lot of really good neutral tools. She has insane approach tools. Very aggressive. Very broken stuff like back 3-1, back 3-4, 1+2 is just insane. Down forward 4 is really strong. Back 2-3 seems really good. Her punishment seems incredible. Having a 15 frame launcher now just makes it so she has basically no weakness in that department. A 12 frame crouching punish as a heat engager is insane. Yeah, she seems kind of busted. She seems really busted, actually. But she seems like fun. She seems like she's really fun. And that was the thing about Lidia in Tekken 7, where on release, and people would still disagree about this, but I said that she was busted, but a lot of people said she was mid-tier. But what I got from it is, even though she was busted, she was really fun because she was unique. She was different. She felt like a very unique character in Tekken. That filled a certain, I guess, a certain niche. It's not really the right way to put it, but you get what I'm trying to say. And she feels like the same here, where she interacts with the heat mechanics in a unique way. She has a unique system that she has to build up between rounds, which no other character in the game has. No other character has to think about building up a mechanic in between rounds. And I love that. I love that with Huang and Tyr and Soul Calibur, and I'm going to love that here. I like the ideas of the decision-making you have to make with her. I love this, how the stances work. She seems like a really fun character. Just seems like she's really, really broken. But I'm quite happy with this. I'm really excited to try her out. She seems like she's going to be a hell of a lot of fun. I really like how these characters, like Yoshimitsu, right, like Zafina, that interacted with the heat system in a unique and interesting way, and not just generic, oh, you do forward 2. And Lidia seems like she has a lot of decision making in like how you get into heat, because she has that one move in stance that puts her in heat, and then in the stance to build up the meter, but puts her at half meter. And then like when you utilize it, like Iron Will of Huang, where you have to use all of the meter, but it builds up the stack. And then the options she has out of that stance as well, all seem really cool. So I'm really, really excited to try her. She seems great. She seems really, really great. I'm saying really a lot because I don't have another word and I'm hungry. So I'm sorry for using, or like just filling my words with garbage. But yeah, that's basically what I think. She's broken, but she seems like she's going to be a lot of fun. Hell yeah.